Hello, disturbed listeners. We need your help in a truly terrifying way. A listener survey. Tell us all of your deep, dark secrets. It'll only hurt for a few minutes. You'll find the link below in our show notes. To show you how much we appreciate you, we're giving away 2 $50 gift cards every month. Remember to check out our show notes for the link to the survey. We promise we won't stalk you when we're done.
You're in your apartment alone. Then you hear something. You think, was it just the storm? You realize you're not alone. Your living room is not safe with Unhinged, the new immersive game experience brought to you by Netflix. To make it out alive, you must answer the phone. The question is, when your phone rings, will you answer? Tap the banner to play Unhinged now, only on Netflix.
This content may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion advised.
He was still staring at my neck when I saw something in his eyes change. They got all dark, they looked black. Then he started to get almost restless and twitchy. It was like he really wanted to do something to me.
We ducked inside, weaving through the racks of dark clothes and accessories, trying to act casual while my heart pounded. We hadn't even been in the store for 5 minutes when I spotted her coming through the entrance.
From Killer Podcasts. True tales of horror, bizarre happenings, unexplainable events. This is Disturbed. Hello, and welcome back to the show. This week we have 5 stories that will alarm and unnerve. So sit back, listen closely, and dive into the horror. In our first story, a serene campsite becomes something from your nightmares. Narrated by Danielle Patterson from Reddit user OxyLOL.
I have a friend that I used to take on most of my trips, but a few years ago, I stopped traveling with him after something really creepy happened to us. We were backpacking and touring Morocco. One night, we were in the middle of nowhere on the road. There was a nice river nearby, and we decided to set up our camp next to it. It was around 8 p.m. and starting to get dark. After we got everything settled, the tent, the fire, everything, I went to the river to wash a t-shirt, a mug, and some other stuff. Suddenly, a huge rock came flying down from seemingly nowhere. It landed so close to my head that if it had hit me, I would have died for sure. I looked around to try to see where it came from, but then another rock was thrown down at me. I freaked out and went back to my friend. I thought for sure he was the one who threw it at me. I started yelling at him, asking why the hell he threw rocks so close to me. He was really confused and started swearing that it wasn't him. I told him that someone else must have done it. That's when he started to get scared. He seemed even more scared than I was. He asked me if I wanted to find a new place to camp, but I was so tired that I didn't want to change places. I just wanted to eat and sleep that night. He still looked really scared, so I told him that I was just joking, and we started to make dinner. We quickly ate some rice, closed the tent, and tried to go to sleep. Around 4 a.m., I heard footsteps, and then a flashlight shone into our tent. Then I heard some mumbling. It sounded like a man. I don't know if he could see me, but I could see him. I decided not to wake my friend up because I thought he would probably start screaming. I listened and watched as he walked up to the side of our tent. He paused for a few seconds, then walked to the front of the tent and paused for a few more seconds. Then the tent zipper slowly started opening. He opened it just a little from the top right side of the tent and whispered in, "You don't have the right to sleep in this place. Please leave." Then he zipped it back up and walked away. I was frozen with fear and shock for almost 20 minutes. I quickly woke up my friend and told him, "We need to leave right now. Don't ask me anything, I'll explain later." He was really freaked out and packed everything up really quickly. We threw our packs on and headed back to the road to resume our trek across Morocco. It turns out that the river we set up camp by was on private land, and that was most likely the landowner telling us to go. My friend knew about this rule, but let us land there anyway. That was the last time I traveled with my friend.
Can you trust the people you meet in college? In this story, a new friendship takes a dark turn. Narrated by Hannah North, from Reddit user Supalicious.
I'm a college student getting ready to start my third year soon. During my first year of college, there was a guy that was in a lot of my classes. We'll call him Jim. When I met Jim, I was 18, and I later found out he was 24. He started to talk to me after seeing that we had a lot of classes together, and it turned out we had the same major, which is geology. Our friendship seemed very normal at first, and I never had a bad feeling about him. One day, when we were walking to a class we had together, I started to poke fun at his suntan. He was usually pasty white and had really funny tan lines. We would poke fun at each other all the time, so I didn't think it would be a big deal. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was something like, "That's a weird thing to say." Immediately after, though, it felt like there was this huge energy switch. He stopped walking and looked at me with a pretty serious face and said, "It's because I'm a serial killer." I gave him a ha-ha and figured he was joking. He gave me an evil smirk and a look that said I might not be kidding. We kept walking to class with a weird energy between us. That was the start of his really weird personality switch-up. He would say quite a few crazy things, many that could have gotten him kicked out of college. Like, he would say that he's a Nazi and loved those kind of people. The worst part about this part was we had a night class together, and like the idiot I am, I would walk with him to our cars. He knew everything about my schedule, and he would continue to find me around campus and sit around me to talk about his racist ideologies. He also knew a lot about my personal life, which he started to use against me. It went even further to him starting to objectify me. He would make inappropriate comments and utterly disgusting requests. I always made sure I had a friend with me after this. Then one day, I was in the computer lab studying alone. I heard the slide of a key card opening the door to the room, and in walked Jim. I don't even know how he found me. I didn't tell anyone I was going there. I was sitting in the back of the room, in the corner. There is only one entrance and exit to the lab, so I couldn't get out without him seeing me. I hoped that everything would be okay, and I put on my best fake happy to see you face. He came and sat down at the end of the table, almost like he was blocking my exit. We started to talk about our end of semester presentations for one of our mutual classes. He was telling me about the presentation he was going to do, and said he wanted to show me the geology of the area he wanted to talk about. Before I could give an excuse to leave, he got up and sat directly next to me. I was really uncomfortable, but I was too scared to try to push past him. He's a lot bigger than me, and I wasn't sure what he might do. Everything was mostly fine at first. Then he started to look at me, get closer, and put his arm around the back of my chair. He was talking to me and not looking me in the face, but staring at my neck. He was still staring at my neck when I saw something in his eyes change. They got all dark. They looked black. This went on for minutes. Then he started to get almost restless and twitchy. It was like he really wanted to do something to me. I had this overwhelming sick feeling that he was going to strangle me or try to hurt me. He licked his lips, and I'd had enough. I got up and shoved my way through as hard as I could and booked it out of that room. I knew he wanted to hurt me. I practically ran to my next class, bawling my eyes out. When I got to the building, I decided to just go home. I couldn't stop crying. He'd never tried anything that ballsy. I avoided going to class for a few days after that. When I finally came back, I was told by many people that he was looking for me. He kept telling my friends to tell him where I was, that he knew they knew. It was at that point that I reported everything. The racist remarks, the sexual harassment, him trapping me in the corner of the lab. Of course, nothing came of it. The school told me that because nothing really physical happened, that they couldn't do anything about the situation even though he was actively looking for me. They told me to call the police and not try to ruin a random guy's life. Because of this guy, I developed huge trust issues. I wouldn't hang out with my friends from school or do any work on campus. I went from my classes to home, and that was it. That was 2 years ago. We still go to the same school, but now I don't see him often, and when I do, I walk the opposite way. I do fear that he might try something in the future, or that I'll have more classes with him. Overall, I want to spread awareness to be careful with who you meet in college and who you let into your life. If you get a weird vibe from someone, it's your gut warning you, so continue with caution.
Now that summer is here and the days are longer, I find myself going for the old reliable Quince favorites. When I'm lounging around, relaxing, and listening to my favorite horror podcasts, I'm always wearing my Quince modal cotton t-shirt. It's so comfortable that you won't catch me wearing anything else. It's versatile too. I can easily throw on a cardigan or a linen button-up shirt over it, and I'm good to go. That's why I keep coming back to Quince. They focus on well-made essentials that naturally become one of those everyday staples you actually live in all season long. And it's not just clothing. Quince has become a trusted favorite for everything from home to travel to everyday essentials. Not to mention that everything at Quince is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. They took out the middleman to make it easier for you. So make your summer wardrobe easier. Go to quince.com/disturbed for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/disturbed for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/disturbed. There are things in your life you don't want to be transparent, like your swimsuit or your search history. But when it comes to your wireless bill, transparency is everything. That's why Mint Mobile wireless plans have no gimmicks and no gotchas, just high-speed data and reliable coverage on the T-Mobile 5G network. And right now, all plans are $15 per month, even unlimited. Mint Mobile took what's wrong with wireless and made it right with premium wireless for only $15 a month. When you make the switch, you can even bring your phone and number with you. I use Mint Mobile and I have had nothing but excellent coverage. I know that I can reach my family and friends whenever I want to, and the call won't get dropped. To get your new wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/disturbed. That's mintmobile.com/disturbed. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/disturbed. That's it. There's no catch. Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, $180 for 12 months, plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. Includes up to 20 gigabyte hotspot. Capable device required. Availability, speed, and coverage varies. See mintmobile.com.
Have you ever experienced the unexplainable? Had a close call or a brush with death? What about an eerie encounter with a real-life monster? Or something paranormal that scared the living daylights out of you? I'm B-Buster, horror enthusiast and the host of the Be Scared podcast. Each week, I tell the allegedly true stories that are sure to raise the hairs on your arms and keep you looking over your shoulder as you walk home alone at night. Tune in every Wednesday to be creeped out, be spooked, and be scared.
Welcome back, listeners. In our next story, a trip to the mall sends 3 girls running for their lives. Narrated by Dacey Else from Reddit user BrainNotFound404.
This happened when I was 19 at one of the bigger local malls in Georgia. I've always looked significantly younger than my actual age. My sister was 12 and my cousin was 16. To anyone glancing at us, we probably looked like 3 high school girls out shopping together. None of us appeared over 18. This detail would end up mattering more than I could have imagined. We were just wandering around, window shopping, grabbing snacks, and enjoying a regular day out as family. The mall wasn't overly crowded. It just had the usual weekend foot traffic. We were walking through one of the main corridors when this woman suddenly approached us. She looked very disheveled, with messy hair, clothes that had clearly been worn for a while, and an anxious, almost desperate energy about her. She was probably in her 40s or 50s. She zeroed in on me immediately and asked if she could borrow my phone, which I thought was really strange. Her story was that she'd been at the malls shopping for 2 days straight and no one would come pick her up. She claimed she'd been calling her ride repeatedly with no success. Something about the whole situation felt off right away. Her eyes kept darting around and she was intensely focused on us. But at the same time, she seemed genuinely distressed. I didn't want to be the kind of person who ignores someone in need, so against my better judgment, I handed her my phone. Big mistake. She put the call on speaker without me asking. The first number she dialed went straight to that robotic message. "This number has been disconnected or is no longer in service." She didn't react much, just muttered something under her breath and immediately tried another number. This time, it rang through to voicemail and she left a message. What happened next was uncomfortable and increasingly strange. She started rambling into the phone, her voice getting louder and more frantic. She went on about how she'd been calling for days, how they knew she was at the mall shopping, and how she didn't understand why they wouldn't answer or come get her. Then she pivoted and started describing us, me, my sister, and my cousin, in extreme detail. She told the voicemail that these 3 nice young girls, even though I was 19, had been kind enough to let her use their phone. She described our appearances, our ages, guessing younger than we were, what we were wearing, and even how we were sticking together. Hearing a stranger narrate us back to some unknown person on a voicemail made my skin crawl. It felt like she was reporting our details to someone, like she was marking us. The second she handed the phone back to me, I snatched it, told my sister and cousin we needed to go right now, and quickly led them away. I knew exactly where I wanted to go. There was an alternative store a short distance down the corridor. It was one of those shops with edgy clothing, band merch, posters, and a staff that always seemed friendly and protective toward younger customers. I'd stopped there before and remembered how the employees would chat with teens and keep an eye on things. I figured if anyone would help us, or at least create a safe buffer, it would be the people in there. We ducked inside, weaving through the racks of dark clothes and accessories, trying to act casual while my heart pounded. We hadn't even been in the store for 5 minutes when I spotted her coming through the entrance. She walked straight in, eyes scanning the aisles with that same desperate intensity she had when she found us. She started asking employees and other shoppers if they'd seen 3 young girls matching our description. She was persistent and moved through the store with purpose. She would describe us to anyone who would listen. Luckily, most people ignored her. The store staff noticed something was off. They started positioning themselves near us and subtly redirecting our questions. I whispered to my sister and cousin to stay close behind a display of hoodies and jewelry, keeping low and out of direct sight. The fact that I had chosen this specific store because I knew the people inside would help us probably saved us from a worse confrontation right then. The situation escalated really quickly after that. She did a lap around the store. I could tell she was still looking for us. She looked in every corner and around every rack, but we were able to evade her. She eventually left the store, but didn't leave the area. We could still see her through the front door. From what we could gather later, she began following another family that somewhat resembled us, again with 3 younger-looking females. She seemed to turn really erratic and aggressive, and the alternative store called mall security. She was on the upper level when mall security confronted her and she tried to throw herself over the top floor railing. It was chaotic. There were spectators and mall customers watching the whole thing go down. Security had to physically intervene to stop her while the other shoppers backed away. We stayed hidden in the alternative store until things calmed down. Staff kept checking in on us to make sure we felt safe. Once the immediate threat passed, we got out of the mall as fast as we could. We stuck close together and were constantly looking over our shoulders. I still don't know what her actual intentions were. The disconnected number, the rambling voicemail where she described us in detail, the way she fixated on following us and then latching onto another similar group. It felt predatory, like she was trying to document us or draw us into something bigger and more dangerous. That day could have gone very differently if I hadn't trusted my gut and headed straight for the alternative store, where I knew we'd have backup. So, a big thank you to those workers who made sure we weren't abducted that day.
A walk to the dentist ends in tragedy. Or does it? Narrated by Zack Kiker from Reddit user WesternNet9792.
One morning in 2017, my mom and my younger sister, whom I'll call Sarah, went to a dental appointment at a nearby clinic. The clinic was very close to our home, so my mom and Sarah walked there. Everything was completely normal at my sister's appointment, and she didn't have any cavities, so my mom decided to treat her to some ice cream. They had to walk a little farther away from our house, but it was worth the walk for the ice cream. My mom and Sarah were walking and eating their ice cream when my sister saw 2 men on motorcycles drive by. She immediately thought they looked suspicious. They were white-skinned with red hair and were dressed completely in black from head to toe. They had a rough, intimidating appearance. Sarah saw the men stop down the road. They sat on their bikes and stared at her and my mom. Then they just drove away. She still felt like something was wrong, but tried to just enjoy her ice cream because she knew they were almost home. There's a small tunnel you can take as a shortcut to get to our house, and my mom and Sarah took it like they would on any other day. It's kind of narrow, and most adults have to walk single file through it. They were talking and laughing when suddenly the same 2 men appeared again. This time they pulled their motorcycles up and blocked the tunnel's entrance and exit. The sun was shining bright that day, but the tunnel became very dark. Sarah knew she was trapped. She hid behind her mom's legs. One of them got off his motorcycle while the other stayed on his bike. He walked towards my mom and my sister. His long red beard bounced with each step. He was big and frightening, with broad shoulders and big muscles. He towered over my mom. He had his hands in his jacket pockets, and before she knew what was happening, he pulled out a gun and pointed it at my mother. He demanded she give him her purse or else he would shoot her. Sarah used that moment to escape. She slipped out from behind our mom's legs and bolted out of the tunnel past his motorcycle. She ran as fast as she could until she reached our house. I was at home with my cousins, who had come over so we could go to school together. We were watching Dora the Explorer on TV when we suddenly heard Sarah screaming and running up to the house. At first, we laughed and ignored her. We thought she'd just been afraid of going to the dentist. She burst through the door, crying and screaming, saying our mother had been killed. She was so upset she could barely tell us what happened. Our grandmother was home and helped calm her down. She told us everything about the men and what happened. I was really scared. What if her mom had been shot? We called the police, but I couldn't wait for them to come. I had to see if she was still alive. While my grandmother was busy with my sister, I snuck out to look for her. I ran toward the tunnel. I didn't care if the men were still there. When I got there, I saw her. She was alone, laying face down on the ground. I immediately started crying. I thought she was dead. Then I thought I heard my name. I waited a minute, then I heard it again. My mom slowly started to get up. She was alive. She told me that she was okay and had only fallen during the fight with the man. She was a little scraped up and still a little shaken up since she had a gun pulled on her, but overall she was fine. We walked home and she told me what happened. After Sarah ran out of the tunnel, the man became agitated and started screaming at my mom for her purse. While she was trying to give it to him, it got caught in her cardigan. The attacker forcefully pulled it, thinking she was resisting. This caused her to fall to the ground, and he dragged her slightly before taking the bag and leaving with his accomplice. The second man simply watched everything without any reaction. When we got home, the police were already there. My mom told them what happened, but we don't know if they ever caught the guys. After that, my sister had a strong fear of the street and motorcycles for years. Whenever she would hear one, she would start shaking and grab onto whoever she was with, and she definitely wouldn't walk anywhere anymore. It's been a few years, and she's come a long way. She even likes walking places again. I'm just glad my mom is still alive.
Disturbed will return in a moment. Do you believe in Bigfoot? You might after this story. Narrated by Sinn, from Reddit user OddStaff2065.
I don't know what the hell this could have realistically been, and I've gone back and forth for years on whether or not I should share this story, mostly because I still don't know what I think happened. Now, I'm not really into paranormal stuff like spirits, magical creatures, or anything like that. Really, I'm a pretty skeptical person, but this event has left me wondering, what if I'm wrong about all that? Okay, so it was September 2019 in central Washington near the Cascades. My family was there for a fun weekend of camping. I mean, I grew up on these family trips, and we usually went to the same areas. We were at one of our favorite spots, a place that we'd explored over the years and that we knew very well. When we first arrived at our site, we started to get unpacked. But for some reason, it felt a little bit off, you know? The first thing all of us noticed was how weirdly silent everything was. The best way I can describe it, it's like there was a giant invisible dome over the campsite. There was no wind, barely any birds, and no ambient forest noise. I really didn't notice it until my mom pointed it out. But then I couldn't stop thinking about how weird it was. Things were pretty normal and quiet the first few days, but then it was the weekend, and more of our relatives arrived. There were a lot of kids running and playing around the campground, screaming, hitting sticks against trees, normal kid camping stuff. And that's when things started to get weird. It started with my uncle. He told us that he heard footsteps or movement outside his tent. Now, at the time, nobody really thought much of it because, obviously, it could have been an animal. But looking back, it was the first thing anyone noticed. The next day, or maybe it was the day after that, the bugs at camp got really bad. There were swarms milling around, so my mom sprayed a ton of bug killer around the camp, and everyone temporarily split off in different directions while it settled. I stayed close to our campsite, while everyone settled to an empty site 2 or 3 down. I was sitting there goofing off at a picnic table when I heard this weirdly human groan right behind me. It felt like it was only an inch or 2 behind me. I looked, but I didn't see anything. My first thought was that somebody was messing with me because it sounded exactly like an impression of a groaning zombie from a movie. But there was no one around. My heart dropped. I ran over to my parents and told them what happened, which started to freak them out. I stayed with them because I was too scared to go back. Then, the group started to hear strange noises too. There were rare knocks on trees, audible whoops, movement in the woods, and weird stuff that we couldn't place. Night started to settle in, and things got worse instead of calming down. The whoops and noises became louder and more frequent. At first, they were farther away, but the later it got, the closer they got. We'd hear one off in the distance in one direction, then back behind us, then somewhere off to the side. They, or it, had us surrounded. The woods were closing in on us. Knock, whoop, crunch, knock, stick, crunch. It became a pattern. It went on for what felt like hours, but was probably only 15 minutes. My family decided it was time to go. While everyone was packing up, I kept watch on a picnic bench. I was scanning the tree line when I saw a line of trees that led to a really big tree about 200 to 300 feet away. It was pretty dark by then, but there was enough moonlight that I saw something that didn't quite belong. There was a large figure hanging from the branch of the tree. It looked like a person dangling upside down by their knees, or maybe even their feet. I couldn't see its eyes, but I could feel it staring at me, making eye contact through the darkness of the forest. I slowly got up from the picnic table, making sure that I could see it as I backed away from the forest. I didn't turn around until I was almost back at our original campsite. My parents were almost done packing the car. I jumped into the back seat and didn't get out until we were home. My family has never really talked about what went on at that campsite. But we've also never gone back to that exact place either. To this day, the combination of everything still bothers me. The silence, the excess bugs, the strange acoustics, the growl, the movement around camp, the knocks, the whoops, the crunching. This was one of the strangest experiences my family has ever experienced outdoors. Even after years of thinking about it, I still can't figure out what I actually saw out there. I don't know. Maybe cryptids are real.
New episodes of Disturbed drop every Thursday. If you love the show, consider becoming a member to access early and ad-free episodes. There you can also access our exclusive monthly series, A Night by the Campfire, where we share the scariest stories we can find from professional authors. A few episodes have been released here for free, so scroll down and listen. I'm your host, Doug Bailey, and this has been Disturbed. If you have a story you'd like to share, email us at mystory@disturbedpodcast.com or post on our subreddit, r/disturbedpodcast. If you enjoyed the show, consider subscribing and leaving a review. Disturbed is a production of Killer Podcasts and part of the Evergreen Network. For more true crime and paranormal shows, visit killerpodcasts.com. Our producer is Sarah Wilgrube, and Declan Roars is our executive producer. Audio engineering by Nathan Corson, Sean Rule Hoffman, and Will Pritz. Music by Epidemic Sound and by Carl Casey at White Bat Audio. Until next time, stay safe out there.